Hello and welcome to Mary Live. This is Dr. Mark Miravalle. My friends in Jesus and Mary, it is Holy Week. This is a week like none other. We read on Palm Sunday the account of the Passion of our Lord Jesus. We know what he has done for us. The question remains, what this week will we do for him? Liturgy doesn't bring us back in time. It brings the reality of the Passion to the present moment, mystically but truly. Now, if we had a loved one, a family member, or a best friend who is going through great pain this week, culminating, let us say, with a life-threatening operation at the end of the week, which really could risk his life or her life, we would be preoccupied. We'd be constantly thinking about our family member or our best friend and what they're enduring even in process before this surgery is taking place or the great pain they're in. And even if we had to perform other functions during the week, it would always be in the back of our minds and then quickly jump to the forefront of our minds. We speak much about mindfulness and intentionality. This is the week to be mindful that our best friend, in fact, the head of our family, is going to die Friday, largely because of us, because of my sins, because of your sins, because of the sins of humanity. That's why we have to avoid distractions during this week. This is not a week for parties. It's not a week for celebration. This is a week to join Jesus on the cross to the extent that we can, to the extent that we're called. But it has to be our hearts united to his heart, about to be pierced for you and me. On Wednesday, Jesus will be betrayed by one he loves. And the church will do penance on Wednesdays for the rest of its time on earth in reparation for the sin of Judas. On Thursday, Jesus, although just rejected and soon to be horrifically crucified, gives us himself in a total act of divine and fraternal charity, so that we will never be alone. We can never say, Lord, where were you during this trial, during my Good Friday? Where were you? And Jesus can say, I was with you in my Eucharistic presence. I was completely, body, blood, soul, and divinity, there for you, at your beckoning. And on Friday, our Lord, this divine person who becomes human, takes on a human nature out of love for us, as if that's not enough, then he has to mount Calvary, he has to mount the cross to further show infinite divine love. On Friday, he will have the most horrendous death of anyone in human history, and no greater suffering than any creature in human history, even though he is our creator. He's the Word made flesh. And this is why we must be focused on him. Our hearts have to be focused and connected with the Sacred Heart, with the heart soon to be pierced. And again, in the Father's perfect plan, he gives us the ability to actually console the heart of Jesus. We can do reparation. Remember in the devotion of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, Jesus takes his heart from his chest and holds it out to St. Margaret Mary Alacoque and says, you at least try to console me for the blasphemies and the ingratitude upon which my heart suffers. Well, he's holding that heart out to each one of us this week, returning us to the question, what are we going to do this week? Will it be some generous fasting, some exceptional fasting perhaps? Will it be some exceptional act of charity, which also balms the heart of charity? Will it be more generous prayer, perhaps a rosary a day, perhaps more, maybe doing the sorrowful mysteries each day, in particular reference, but perhaps even the full rosary, the 15-decade rosary, as Our Lady's asked in so many of her apparitions? Or will it be a new, courageous effort to stop an addiction, to give a cell phone to a friend at night, to a family member, so that we're not partaking in things we should not in the dark of the night? Will it be a new effort to be detached from something that has our attachment, has our addiction, at least for this week? Let's ask Our Lady how we can be generous, how we can balm, console the heart of Jesus. And let's remember the mother who would suffer with him like no other creature. She would be spiritually crucified and will be mystically and spiritually this Friday, as all of liturgy brings the reality of the Passion to us now. Let's remember the mother that said yes to the crucifixion of her Son, so she could also say yes to becoming my mother and your mother. Let's love the two hearts this week. Let's focus on the two hearts this week. Let's show gratitude. And sometimes love can be a very abstract mystery. Sometimes love has very concrete packaging. Let's do something concrete this week to show our love and gratitude for our sweet Lord and our Blessed Mother. Acts of charity, even if it hurts, because it's hurting them out of love for us. May you have a very blessed Holy Week. And remember, to the extent that we die with him, to the extent that we mount the cross with him, is to the extent that we rise with him and secondarily with her. God bless you all.